Okay, would you kindly introduce yourself to the camera?
My name is Kay Cox and I live in Stirling in Scotland.
What do you do?
I'm a 40-year-old journalist with 2 children.
Lovely. What, you've been working recently where?
I've been working recently as letters editor for The Sun. I'm covering maternity leave, but mostly I'm freelance.
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, would you kindly tell us your story?
Well, the worst thing. Well, this began just over a year ago, 18 months ago, when I went to see John Morley because of what I describe as the brain fog, which is a sort of, not exactly a visual thing, but it's just fog in your brain. It means you can't concentrate, you can't remember anything, you can't plan anything, you can barely work, even if you're working on a story. So you might put 3 paragraphs together and forget what the 4th one was going to be. Just the fog was just kind of always there. And it became very, very difficult to live with that and the lack of energy. As an energetic person, I still looked as if I was achieving an awful lot because I have a very strong constitution. I never sort of lay down and rolled over to it. But it's like, I don't know if you know the guy who does a marathon in a deep sea diving suit. And he's got these lead boots. And he does 26 miles and it takes him like 3 or 4 days. He gets there, but that was how I felt. It was like dragging every foot. So I'd actually get everything that had to be done, but it just felt like lead, dragging myself through everything. And people say, oh, it's because you've got young children, you're tired, everyone's tired, of course you're tired. But I knew it was different. I knew it was different. And John, with his Vega machine, discovered that I was mercury toxic, and that it did need to be dealt with. He gave me a number of remedies, but then unfortunately we lost him. So and he had already mentioned your name to me, Hisham. But then I began working closely with Amy Ralston, who is an acupuncturist of some marvellous repute, and she and you and I got together to remove the poison, to take the rusty nail out of the brain, as it were. And I feel 1,000 times better. I am who I'm meant to be. And the people who really benefit from this, obviously me, but the people who really benefit are my children. Because they have the real me. And instead of being tired and, lethargic and, oh, got to get you to bed. Bedtime should be such a nice time, and it was always the end of the day and I was always tired. And so I was a bit irritable and unpredictable with them, and now I'm just myself and more patient, and that will affect who they are because everything's much calmer in our house now.
Your tiredness has improved by how much percentage compared to how you were when you came to see us?
Oh, my tiredness. If I'm tired, I've just done 6 months of 6 days a week work plus, Sundays, a whole other challenge with my mother-in-law and swimming lessons and all the rest of it, and I've managed that non-stop for 6 months without feeling tired. If I felt tired, I've gone to bed early and I've been fine. It was impossible to feel like that before. It was unthinkable. So, I am normal. I am definitely normal in tiredness.
So you improved by how much?
I've improved by 100%.
Do you think that improvement is due to the amalgam removal?
I'm positive of that.
Can you think of any other reason why you improved, apart from the removal of the amalgam? And the mercury detox?
The mercury detox, obviously, because it's got to come out, because I've got this kind of slow, sluggish system, so it took quite a long time.
Yeah, it takes a while for mercury to come out of the body. But can you think of any other reason at all?
Nothing else has changed.
Nothing else has changed. You're definitely positive.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, you also had a bit of depression.
I did. Some of that was circumstantial, because it was sort of my husband wasn't in work and I was commuting to London this time last year, just last winter.
In addition to all the other mercury toxicity symptoms?
When that was at its peak, actually, probably. I think I probably got to treatment just in time, because I had noticed myself getting worse. I didn't know what it was, because part of the problem is that your concentration and memory are so debilitated that you can't focus on what could this be. It's difficult to unpick it all. You just feel rubbish. You just feel terrible. And I think the lethargy...
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I think the lethargy and
I was there
the
before.
depression.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
I was there
It's
before.
like this, you just constantly... like this. And I think the tiredness and
Living on
depression are the
spiritual
same
energy.
thing, aren't they?
Sorry?
The tiredness and depression are kind of the same thing. They're linked. You're feeling
No, they're
low
different.
because you're so tired, and you just sort of constantly, you're at the bottom of a hill looking at the top of it and thinking, how am I going to get there? And that's just each day. But yeah,
moody?
it was pretty difficult as well, commuting to London, leaving the kids, and you know, all of that would make a person feel a bit stressed.
You know that the depression is the first thing that lifts after the amalgam removal?
Yes, I remember the next day feeling euphoric, actually, the day after you took them out. Where I got this feeling of euphoria, and then it sort of settled and got gradually better and better and better.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have no explanation for that. I do not know how this happens. I wish I can find an explanation for it. Because you see, if depression is something to do with the brain activities and the brain structure, how come you are feeling euphoric the following day after the removal of the amalgam from your teeth? I haven't removed it from the brain, I removed it from your teeth. So how come, you're not the only one who actually remarked that. A lot of people, everybody. I have patients coming here jumping, 2 weeks after the amalgam removal and say, you cured my depression.
Yeah.
How does it happen? I have no idea.
I think, I haven't read a bit about it. I mean, I think the mercury vapour aspect, I always had a lot of vapour in my mouth.
Yeah.
And it's going straight to your brain. Gas goes straight into your brain. It must affect your brain chemistry like that.
Yes,
so
but you see what happens exactly for depression to lift that quickly? I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, and you had mood swings, and that improved as well.
Yeah, and I think in combination with mood swings, part of the whole picture. I don't know quite how to separate one from another, but hormonal imbalance as well.
You had that before, yeah? You had BMT.
Yeah, which is much, much better as well.
It's much better. Again, BMT, who would have thought that BMT is mercury toxicity? Or, shall we say, predominantly mercury toxicity? Because I have come across quite a lot of ladies who had BMT before the amalgam removal, and they surprised me by saying that the BMT is gone. Almost everyone who had BMT.
Except that if it affects your central nervous system, it just must unbalance everything.
Well, it affects every part of your body, to be exact, because it goes everywhere. And you had irregular periods as well, yeah? And now how are your periods? Are they regular?
Yes, they are. They are much more predictable.
Well, again...
every 26 days.
So
sometimes it's within a day. It used to be, it was swinging, so that it was... I used to be 28 days bang on, down to an hour. And then it got so that it was 6 days either way. I just couldn't tell. I'm now down to sort of within a day or so.
So to an observer, it would mean that the mercury was affecting your endocrine glands.
So it's the only conclusion I can come to. Yeah.
Any other reason for the lifting of the BMT or the lifting of these symptoms we've talked about, other than the amalgam removal?
Well, in combination with acupuncture. With Amy, yes, definitely. I'm sure what.
But
she
you had
does
acupuncture
helps.
before you had the amalgam removal?
Yes, I had just the one session. I mean, I've only seen Amy once in 6 months. But it does help. It's definitely something that works very well with the treatment that you do.
Yeah, and you had short-term memory problems?
Oh, I had every kind of memory problem. I couldn't remember anything.